Hi, I'm Chenille Williams.
And I'm Stacey Washington.
And we're from the South Carolina Energy Office. And today we will be talking about recycling. It's an energy issue. Now, we don't think much about the connection between energy and recycling, but there is one. Every time a new product is made from raw material, large amounts of energy are consumed. So, recycling products decreases the amount of energy it takes to produce these items. We're going to ask our students, what are the benefits of recycling?
I think the benefits of recycling is that since there's a lot of waste in the world, the waste doesn't go to the landfill, and because waste that the recycling that does go into the trash that goes to the landfill doesn't really help the environment.
I think because the materials that you recycle can be reused instead of having to make new materials.
And how does recycling save money and energy?
I think it's supplying recycled material to an industry that uses less energy than supplying raw material to industry to make new products.
The less energy needed to make new materials when you can just recycle them and they can be reused again.
Right, so we'll be talking about that in the lesson today. And we'll ask these same questions at the end and see if you have different answers or more educated answers as we go through and learn more about these different topics. So what are some examples of energy?
Some examples of energy are a light source because it uses energy so we can see. And another one could be like a computer or a tablet because it produces energy so we can use it.
I would say things such as solar energy and wind energy.
All right, well, let's talk about some more and see if we can learn more about energy.
Okay, so when we talk about energy, there are different types. First, we have direct energy, which is the energy used to create a product. Then we have indirect energy, which is the energy used to make and move products that is not directly involved in the creation process. So when you put direct and indirect energy together, you get embedded energy. All matter contains energy. Now we have a little activity or a visual for how we are going to demonstrate embedded, direct, and indirect energy. Now, like I mentioned, direct energy is the energy used to create a product. So this could be an example of direct energy because this is our product that we're creating. Indirect energy is the energy used to make and move the product. So it's separate from this energy. So we have a product, and now this person is driving the product away. That is all considered indirect energy. So when you put those two together, indirect plus direct, there's your embedded energy.
So let's make it happen. This is the activity for this lesson. I will divide the students into groups. Today we have 2 students, so they'll be in one group. Each student will get a waste scenarios handout. So here's your handout. And then each student also will get a worksheet to use to calculate during the activity. In the activity, each student will read the scenario and they'll make the calculations based on the information in their scenario for the different materials that will be reused or recycled. Before we get into the lesson, I will do an example and talk about BTUs, or British thermal units. A BTU is the amount of energy needed to cool or heat 1 pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit. That's where we get that British thermal unit from. There's a couple of calculations that will be used during this lesson. Step 1 will be to look at the energy cost or requirements of the new materials and subtract that from the energy cost or requirements of the recycled material, and that will be the energy saved. Step 2, we'll take that energy saved and divide it by the energy cost or requirements of the new material and multiply that by 100 to get the percent of energy saved. So let's do an example here before we get into actually doing the activity. This example will be for copper. So to make copper from ore, it requires 280 million BTU per ton. To make copper from scrap, it requires 10 million BTU per ton. So already you can see the difference in the amount of energy that is needed for raw material ore versus scrap. So let's do a calculation to see what it actually is. So step one, we're going to subtract the 280 from the 10 million BTU, the new minus the recycled, and we'll get 270 million BTU per ton as that energy saved. In step two, we'll take that energy saved, that 270 million BTU, and divide it by the requirements for our new material, which is 280 million BTU, and multiply that by 100, and then we get 96% savings. So that 280 and 10 gets you that 96% savings. Okay, so let's see what you guys can do by reading the scenarios and doing the calculations. So the scenarios we have are for paper, plastic, glass, and metals. And we have a calculator here that you can use to do the calculations.
You can work as a group.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
All right, so let's see what the answers are that you all got. So for paper, it looks like 67% energy is saved. For PET plastic, 88% energy is saved. For HDPE plastic, 77% is saved. Glass, 6%. Aluminum, 95%. And by recycling these materials, you're saving trees. You're not having to go and get petroleum. You're not having to use raw sand or raw bauxite or mine for these items. You can just go right from the recycled material and use that to make the new item. And as you can see, aluminum is the one with the highest percentage of energy saved.
Now, when you're doing this activity for educators, as an FYI, the answers are included in the activity, and this is what they look like. So now that you two have gone through the activity, it's time for you to answer the questions again. What are the benefits of recycling?
Now I think the benefits of recycling is that they can help save the environment.
I think they can save energy by using less, by already having the materials.
Mm-hmm. And how does recycling save money and energy?
It can help save money by at the local landfill instead of having everything in the trash, because some plastic has harmful chemicals in it, and it can also help. It also like endangers different things.
It can save money and energy by the factories that make the different products that you have to use to make things. You can already have them and already be made.
Very good. Very good. So now that you all have learned about the percentage and energy savings that comes from recycling, let's do this sorting activity. We have several items: an aluminum can, glass jar, paper towel roll or toilet paper roll, steel can, and a plastic bottle. Now what we would like for you to do is to sort these materials into the order from highest percentage of energy savings from recycling to the lowest percentage of energy savings from recycling.
Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay, Stacey, how'd they do?
I think that's fantastic. Yes, the aluminum can saves the most amount of energy by recycling, 95%, and the glass is the least. So I think you all did a great job, and it seems like y'all have learned something from this lesson.
Great. Good job.
And for more information on energy lessons, please go to our website, energy.sc.gov/energy lesson plans.